Early life and beginnings. Roger Byrne, born September 8, 1929, in Salford, England, was a footballer whose career would come to define an era of success and tragedy in Manchester United's history. As a child, Byrne's upbringing in the industrial landscape of Salford was typical of many working-class families in the area. He showed an early interest in football, playing in the streets with friends, as was customary for many young boys of his generation. His talent on the pitch quickly became evident, and by the age of 15, he was signed by Manchester United's youth team, beginning his journey with the club that would define his career. Byrne's playing style was quickly recognized for its elegance, vision, and leadership. He had an innate ability to read the game, often being described as a player who could dictate the tempo of a match with ease. His passing ability, combined with his speed and tactical intelligence, set him apart from his peers. These early characteristics made him a perfect fit for United's philosophy under manager Matt Busby, who was beginning to build what would become known as the Busby Babes, a team that would go on to revolutionize English football. The rise to prominence at Manchester United. Roger Byrne's early years at Manchester United were marked by steady progress through the club's ranks. After joining the youth team in 1944, Byrne quickly progressed to the senior squad. His first team debut came in 1949 when he was just 20 years old. His rapid rise through the ranks highlighted not only his natural talent but also his capacity to adapt to the demanding standards of top-flight football. Byrne's role in the team was that of a left-back. Though he was more than capable of pushing forward and contributing to the attacking play, which was a hallmark of United's style at the time. As a full-back, he was known for his precise passing and ability to read the game. Characteristics that would serve him well in the years to come. Under Busby, Manchester United was undergoing a transformation from a club that had been struggling in the post-war years into a force that would challenge the dominant teams of the era. By the early 1950s, Byrne had firmly established himself as one of the key players in the United squad. He was known for his ability to bring the ball out of defense, a skill that was rare in fullbacks at the time. His style of play perfectly complemented the attacking flair that Manchester United was known for, and he became an essential part of Busby's tactical setup. Along with his teammates, Johnny Berry, Jackie Blanchflower, and Duncan Edwards, Byrne formed the backbone of a team that would go on to achieve unprecedented success. The Munich air disaster. The most defining moment of Byrne's career, and indeed of Manchester United's history, came on February 6, 1958. This was the day of the Munich air disaster, a tragedy that would not only change the course of the club's history, but also rob the world of one of its most promising and talented players. The United team had just played a European Cup quarter-final in Belgrade and were returning to England. The plane, attempting to take off from Munich airport, crashed after a failed attempt to clear the runway during bad weather conditions. Tragically, 8 players from Manchester United lost their lives, including the club's captain, Roger Byrne. At the time of the crash, Byrne was 28 years old and at the peak of his powers. His death was a devastating blow to both the club and English football as a whole. Byrne, who had been an ever-present figure in the team's defense and attack, was widely regarded as one of the finest fullbacks in the world. His leadership on the pitch was invaluable, and he was seen as the spiritual leader of the Busby Babes. As the captain, his calm and composed demeanor both on and off the pitch had made him a vital figure in the squad. His tragic death, along with those of his teammates, left a gaping hole in the club, which would take years to heal. Impact of the Munich air disaster. The loss of Roger Byrne, along with the other players and staff members who perished in the Munich disaster, sent shockwaves throughout the football world. The aftermath of the crash marked a dark chapter in Manchester United's history. And the rebuilding process that followed was both a tribute to those who were lost and a challenge for the club's remaining players. In the wake of the disaster, Matt Busby, who had been severely injured but survived, was faced with the monumental task of rebuilding the team. However, the spirit of the Busby Babes, the young team that had been on the verge of greatness, lived on. Players such as Bobby Charlton, Dennis Viollet, and Ray Wood returned from injury to help rebuild the squad. But the loss of Byrne, who had been a key player, was felt deeply within the squad and among the fans. United's resilience in the face of such a loss was extraordinary. And it wasn't long before the club would go on to win the 1963 FA Cup and eventually, the 1968 European Cup, fulfilling the dreams of those who had been lost in Munich. Yet, Roger Byrne's absence remained a profound and painful reminder of what could have been. Legacy and recognition. Roger Byrne's legacy has been cemented in the history of Manchester United as one of the club's greatest ever players. He was not just a talented footballer. He was a symbol of unity, determination, and leadership. His tragic death at such a young age robbed the football world of a player who had the potential to be one of the all-time greats. Byrne was posthumously honored in numerous ways. After the Munich disaster, a memorial was erected at Old Trafford, Manchester United's iconic stadium, to honor the memory of those lost in the crash. Byrne's legacy lives on as a reminder of the tremendous impact he had on the club, and he is regarded as one of the original heroes of United's storied history. His role in helping to lay the foundations for the club's future successes is still remembered with reverence to this day. In 2008, a decade after Manchester United's European Cup victory in 1968, the club paid tribute to the players who had lost their lives in the Munich disaster, including Byrne, with a memorial match against Hamburg. This event was a fitting tribute to a player who had helped to shape the early years of Manchester United's dominance in European football. Conclusion. Roger Byrne's career was tragically cut short. But his impact on Manchester United and English football is undeniable. He was a key figure in one of the most exciting and dynamic teams in the history of football. And his leadership on the pitch made him a beloved figure at Old Trafford. Byrne's passing in the Munich disaster was a devastating blow, not just for the club but for the entire footballing world. Yet, his memory has lived on, and his contribution to the success of the Busby Babes and the legacy of Manchester United is still celebrated today. Although he may have been taken too soon, Roger Byrne's name will forever be etched in the annals of Manchester United's history, and he will always be remembered as a symbol of the club's resilience, ambition, and enduring greatness.